We're here at CyberScoop's Zero Trust Summit with Karl Hellmann, Deputy CISO at the Department of Labor. Karl, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking, how would you describe your department's progress in deploying enterprise-wide platforms for things like identity and access management and multi-factor authentication?
So the Department of Labor is doing very well in those areas. So we have, well prior to the executive order and this move to Zero Trust, we have been spending a lot of time in the ICAM area, and specifically with multi-factor authentication into our systems, whether they're applications or our networks. So I would say we're ahead of the curve on that. We still have some legacy systems that we're working on, but we have been very focused on providing a pretty seamless entity for our workforce into systems using ICAM and multi-factor authentication.
And then what challenges are you all still facing in trying to maintain things like a complete inventory of authorized devices, as OMB has recommended, and also to ensure that endpoint detection and response tools are being deployed properly?
Right. So I wouldn't say that it's a challenge of maintaining an inventory and knowing what's on your network. It's a daily activity. It's something that, again, with bring your own device, with the tablets, with our field workforce, our network is this constant shifting and changing entity. And if you think about it, the past couple years where all of a sudden we weren't all sitting in the office, we were very distributed. We have been working very hard on systems to identify that. We've made a lot of progress in that area, especially working with CISO and the continuous diagnostics and mitigation. Again, getting out there and discovering the endpoints that we have, and then pushing protections, to them as we discover them. Because today our network is X, tomorrow our network will be X minus plus something. We're not going to have the exact same number of assets tomorrow. So it's, like I said, I wouldn't call it challenging. I would call it part of our everyday activity, and it's something that we work very hard at the Department of Labor to maintain and upkeep.
And then thirdly, how well equipped would you say agencies and your department in particular are, compared to, say, a couple of years ago, in their ability to identify and isolate segments of their IT environment if and when they've been compromised?
So we are much better off today than we were, we'll just say 2 years ago. One of the things, and I mentioned earlier, is our work with CISO on the continuous diagnostics and mitigation. So we have that activity completely up and running, and we're able to understand what's on our network. We're also able to determine how our network kind of meshes together, and if we needed to isolate something from our network, we have that ability to do that. With that type of tool and with that type of automation, we're also able to, if you take some of potential software breaches or things of that nature, is to isolate network equipment, not just, hey, I have a laptop and I went to Starbucks and picked up something bad. No, but we have a server that's running a software that has, that now some vulnerabilities have been discovered. We can, using that tool and technology, we can isolate those.
And then lastly, and kind of looking ahead, how is OMB's Zero Trust policies altering your investment strategies, either on the network overall or your IT infrastructure from a security standpoint?
So it is altering our strategy. Obviously, like all other federal agencies and even private organizations, you have a long range and a short range plan of how you're going to manage your network and the assets on it and modernize and those types of things. And this executive order changes, moving to Zero Trust in a quote unquote official basis, changes some of that strategy. It becomes the ability for the department and our senior leadership to reprioritize some of those activities that we were looking to do and bring this to the forefront. But some of these things are really things we were always working on. Legacy equipment modernization. The department has been spending a lot of time and money to modernize all of our equipment and our applications, and that fits right into a zero trust model.
Well, Karl Hellmann, thank you so much for joining us today here at the Zero Trust Summit.
Thank you guys for having me.